What is good, homies? This is Chris from the Small Hat Crew, joined today by Small Hat Nick.
Hello.
And our guest of the hour.
Hello, my name is Isaac.
It do be Isaac. You may have seen the last one. Actually, I didn't think so. How many of the leaders did you get right?
One.
You got white.
Yeah,
you got Whitebeard.
I got Whitebeard right. I got the first guy wrong. I think it was Iceberg, and then the third one, Crocodile. I got him wrong. Although honestly, I wanted Crocodile to be good just because like its effect in theory to me is just insane.
Bro, Yu-Gi-Oh players love Purple Crocodile. We fucking love that card. We really do. Oh my god. Anyway, though, those were leaders in the last video. Today we're just gonna be talking about some regular cards, and I guess if you haven't seen the first video, what we're basically doing here is we are presenting One Piece cards to a Yu-Gi-Oh player that does not have a One Piece background. He's never played the game.
I don't follow the game too much.
He doesn't follow the game, so we can throw cards at him, and he doesn't have any of the context. And just based off of his card game background, just based off of like TCG mechanics and stuff, he's gonna try to figure out whether or not cards are good or bad. With that being said, we'll jump right in. Like in the last video, we threw like a lot of cards at you that would kind of debate you or whatever, you know? We threw some that would seem like they're good, but they're actually bad. Some that are bad, but seem like they're good. Because we don't want it to get too predictable, we're gonna litter in some cards that are just good, some are just bad. They're not all there. So sometimes you don't really want to overthink it. If I ask you, are you sure? I may be trying to, you might be right. I might try to be trying to make you be wrong. So
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
We'll start with Oama. She's a 1-cost character, 0 power. She has 2,000 counter. That's not too common in One Piece. In the set, if you gain like 20 new cards, maybe two or three of them might have 2,000 counter. Her effect is on play, so it's like in Yu-Gi-Oh, like when summoned.
Okay.
Give one of your opponent's characters minus 2,000 power during this turn. You can't do it to leaders, but like the characters are sticking on the board. If there is one that has like 5,000 power, you play her, minus it to 3,000. It's like that until the end of the turn.
And it's a 1-cost?
It is a 1-cost character, but it has 0 power.
Like you said, 2,000 power is not very common. The way it goes is either characters have no counter power whatsoever, they're in their hand, they're dead. You can only play them as characters.
She could be used as a counter, though.
And 2,000 counter power, which is the rare.
Yeah, so her effect is pretty much while on the board.
Do all like, or at least like the One Piece units have that to where like plus like 2,000 for like counter or
2,000 is some of the rarest. But to balance them, they usually have weaker effects. And then most characters, I want to say like 6 cost and under, will have 1,000 counter, and then a lot of like higher cost characters will have really strong effects, and to balance them, they'll have no counter.
And I'd imagine, or at least for like a lot of One Piece decks, you have to play like multiple counters depending on whether they're like, actually, what is it?
There's no like restriction or anything like that, but usually you do want to play.
This is only if you're getting attacked.
If you're being attacked, then yeah, she's the clue. She's the honest.
Okay. All right.
So on opponent's turn, she's a Kalut. On your turn, you could potentially play her and lower something by 2,000.
I'd imagine there's probably cards that are just only meant to be used for counters, and that's it. Yeah. If I had to imagine. So, are there any other cards that exist that have like, if you use them as a counter, they have an effect with it, or is it just only on the field that you can only activate?
So counter is only from hand.
It's they're strictly Kaluts from hand. They don't cost a resource or anything. You just drop them, and your character or leader goes up that much for that one battle.
Okay, and it's 2,000. It can only go up to 2,000.
It goes up 2,000. So like Whitebeard would go from 6,000 to 8,000 for that battle.
I can't see why you would ever play the character on field unless there's like a benefit just to having characters on field, like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you can just like sack monsters off for like better ones. Does One Piece have that type of mechanic, or?
It's very far and few between, and it's usually like more specific. There are cards that could technically sack her off, I guess. Honestly, it's not really relevant in terms of her.
Okay, gotcha.
You can always put 5 Dawn on her though to pump her to 5,000. I've killed people with 10,000 Otamas.
I would say the card's pretty good, just only purely being used as like a counter. I'm not sure why you would like play her on field unless you were just like desperate to take out like another unit. But as a counter, I would say she's pretty good just because she has 2,000.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I would say it's a pretty decent card.
This card was voted the most reliable card of OP01 and got an alternate art as a result.
That is the only one that she got.
This is the alternate art.
Sick. Okay.
This
yeah.
card was one of the best. It was the best 2K in One Piece.
Yeah, it's
for
for
a really
it's
long
for 2K. So I'm just like, because you can only go up to that amount, so it's just like, I'd imagine there's not that many like 2K defenders. So.
Yeah, with the 2K, like the worst case scenario is it's a 2K in your hand. The fact her effect is actually playable, because most don't even have that. Her effect's actually, not only is it playable, it's also good too. Like, for example, the opponent has like a 7,000 power character on their board. You just play her, it becomes 5,000. You just throw your leader at it.
And it's a 1 cost too. So
it only
like,
costs 1. And like, you just throw your leader at it, and they can counter out of it if they want to. But they're minus 2,000 for the rest of that turn.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'll turn another character into it. Do you want to keep dropping cards from your hand, or are you going to give it up? She costs 1, and she'll usually take something out in exchange.
Okay, gotcha. And there's like other cards I guess like hand traps that also act as like collude when you're battling like another unit.
Anything with counter basically acts like that.
But it's only defending. There's
Only
no
defending.
on-attack.
Yeah.
Oh wait, so there's nothing to actually be aggressive with whenever you're.
There's no aggressive counters.
Okay,
Strictly
gotcha.
defensive.
Okay, gotcha.
She also has other like ret synergies. There will be characters that will say like, on play, pop a character with 3,000 or less power. If there's a 5,000 on board, you could like play her, lower them to 3,000, and then play another card and pop it. One thing that happened a lot with her in OP01, there was this really degenerate card called Eustace Captain Kidd. He was a degenerate floodgate. He was 8,000 power. Red had this card called Jet Pistol, where it said pop a character with 6,000 power for only 4 Dawn.
Excuse me?
You would just play her, drop the kid to 6,000, and then you would just Jet Pistol it. For 5 Dawn, you would just answer him, and that card is a win condition. Like, if he would say, your opponent can only attack me. They can only attack me, so if
And it's 8,000, so they have to waste a whole bunch of resources.
they waste a ton of resources.
Yeah.
When he comes out, you could tap him to play a blocker from your hand, for example. You could also counter to keep him alive. Like, he would hit the board and he would win that game. So red was one of the best. Red was arguably the best. No, it was the best color of OP01 because it was one of the only colors that could consistently answer green. Green would drop kid, red didn't care about it. It got to the point where people, like, when you play against competent red players, you would never see them counter with this card. It would never drop out of their hand. So the green player would also have to be like, is it safe for me to spend my entire turn putting this guy on the board? Because he'll just get answered next turn if they have the Oama. She was an amazing card. She has her own little legacy. To this day, she still sees play.
Okay, so I guess the card right.
Yeah. Next card, we have Frankie. 3 Dawn, 4,000 power, no counter, Dawn ×1. This character can also attack your opponent's active characters. So earlier when I mentioned, like, only when your opponent's character is tapped can you attack it, he ignores that. Your opponent can, like, they won't attack you with the character to keep it active so that you can't interact with it, so they can use it on, like, the following turn, for example. He says that's not happening. He says whether that character is tapped or it is active, I am coming for it.
So whenever you have a character tapped, it stays tapped until
your next
following turn.
Yes.
Okay.
It'd be like your standby.
Okay, gotcha. Alrighty.
Yeah, so you have to attach 1 Dawn to him so he becomes 5,000 power, and then he can attack anything active or not. He just becomes like he becomes like removal.
Okay, so you already have to put like 3 Dawn into already like the cost to actually get him out in the field, and then you have to use 1 in order to use the actual ability for it.
Yeah, and remember, these wouldn't be happening on the same turn, so you would spend 3 to put him on the board, and because he doesn't have rush, on the next turn when he can attack, you just put 1.
Oh yeah, they have summoning sickness.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But doesn't red have like a way of like giving rush to other characters, or
There's one card that does it. But it doesn't see play. It's never been relevant in the game.
for red I would say it's a pretty good card. Just because the fact that it can just attack either active or non-active characters, regardless of whether you have to use like a resource for it. I'd imagine it's like really good early game for red, since that's what their game plan is. So I would say it's a pretty good card, especially considering it's a 4,000 for its actual power. But it's only like early, so I would say it's a pretty good one.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card's ass.
Really?
This card,
You're kidding.
this card has never seen play.
Really?
This card is so bad.
Damn.
So-
I would have at least thought of maybe like 1 or 2 of it if I had to imagine. But.
So, okay. One has no counter. Remember, so usually cards don't get counter to balance their effects. So usually it's like 7 cost and higher characters, and his effect does not justify it. Also, he is only 4,000. So once he himself turns sideways, it's going to cost you so many resources to keep him alive to live to the next turn. Like just your opponent's leader, they're 5,000 already, so they'll swing at him. You will have to drop at least 2,000 counter to keep him alive, assuming they haven't swung higher than 5,000.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess for like an effect that isn't like, it's not really worth trying.
And it doesn't do anything on the turn it comes out. There's many problems with this card. But
Okay.
with that being said, we will move on to our next card. We have Thousand Sunny. So this is a stage. Stages are field spells.
Oh, okay.
Activate main. So once per turn, you may rest this stage. Up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type leader or character on your field gains 1,000 power during this turn. So basically, there will be 1 turn. You'll spend 2 Dawn to put it on the board.
You mean rest this stage? Okay, so just tap it?
You tap it.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, the first turn you play this card, you would spend 2 Dawn to put it on the field, and then you would tap it, and then it would basically refund you 1 of those Dawn. You'd gain 1,000 power, and every turn after that, you can keep resting it to keep gaining the 1,000.
Until the end of turn.
Until the end of turn.
I'm guessing there's like a lot of other, I guess, like stages in the game to actually use.
Not really. Stages, most either don't see play or don't really exist. I think this is one of Red's like only 3 stages, and the other 2 are locked to other archetypes. So this card pretty much says, I cost 1 Dawn, I'll pump you 1,000 this turn, and then every turn after, I'll pump you 1,000 for free.
As like a 1 or 2 of, I would say it's pretty good.
Is that your final answer?
Is it? So like, okay, actually, one other question. Do like a lot of other, I guess, like colors actually play stages? Or is it just, you could just completely opt out of it and it doesn't really hurt?
You can opt out of them. It doesn't really hurt. Stages, their removal is almost non-existent. So usually once a stage hits the game, like hits the board, it's staying there for the rest of the game. I will say that.
There are also some decks that live and die by the stage. So like we were talking about earlier with purple, they ramp. Purple has a ramp stage that if they just don't see it, they typically just lose the game. Same thing with blue, like Ivankov has a stage that they want to see every single game. So, like you said, red has probably 3 stages. 2 of them are leader locked, 1 of them is banned. It's not this one.
Banned?
Yeah, there's a band. It's also Whitebeard.
Also,
Man, they really like that character a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, they do.
the old man a lot of power.
Yeah, they did.
I would say it's a pretty decent one. At least for what Red's trying to do is at least, well, it's only, how much does 1,000 mean, really? I guess.
So it's basically having an 11th Dawn every turn as far as power goes. Also, that 1 Dawn, like say you have like a Straw Hat leader, that would just be every turn your leader can just become 6,000 and swing at the opponent's leader and either take a life or make them drop a 2k.
What's the
2K,
deck
yeah.
count for One Piece? It's 60?
50.
50?
Yes.
I guess like my only gripe with it is that it costs 2.
Now, it does kind of refund you 1 though. Essentially, that turn it comes out because you could attach 2 Dawn to your leader and swing for 7,000.
So gain 2 Dawn, play that, gain back 1.
Right.
I'd say it's a pretty decent card. I mean, I like it.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card has never seen play.
God damn it. I don't know. I mean, it seems decent for like what it is. If it gives you back 1, it's really only like a 1 cost.
The biggest problem is every card can seem decent when you don't know the rest of the color pool, or rest of the card pool. Yeah, this Thousand Sunny came in the starter deck, the very first starter deck of One Piece.
Yeah.
And did Zoro even play it in OPL1? Yeah, no decks played it.
No, this card has never seen play. I'm gonna say the problem with this card, it's not even that it's like terrible or anything.
Yeah, it doesn't sound bad. For what Red is trying to do, it doesn't sound bad.
It's just that there's better.
The problem is that it is a red card, and red has been the best color for so long.
There's already
Their
so
co-
many other good cards in Red that probably just like way out.
Yes, for the most part, with red, if you see the stage and you'd only like really realistically run like one copy, because if you drew another one, it'd be in your hand for the rest of the game. There's no way to like pitch it or anything unless you like go out of your way to run cards to turn this into discard fodder or something. There's another stage called Moby Dick for Whitebeard. While you're at 1 or less life, your leader and all your Whitebeard characters gain 2,000 power till the end of the turn.
Excuse me?
And it has a trigger, so when in your life,
You're basically already like a 3... What is it? What was his life again?
He's 6.
He's 6, but you lose one every turn. Yeah, you're proccing that every single game you're in.
That's why Whitebeard players would just keep taking. They would just keep taking the damage every time the opponent hit them. They'd gain an extra card, and you'd just be putting them closer to their win condition. That leader was so stupid. This was one of the first 2 cards to ever get banned. Honestly, I think this card might be the reason a ban list was created. Yeah. And also, so he made your leader 8,000. All your other characters climbed for no reason. And it also had, like, so when you take life, damage, there's the thing called trigger, where instead of adding the card to your hand, you can resolve this other effect instead. Moby Dick had a trigger that said, play this card. So if your opponent hits you and it was in your life, it would just come onto the board.
You're shitting me. That would be a quick play?
It would just come out the life, play itself for free. It wouldn't cost you anything. It would just do it.
You don't gain the 2,000 on your opponent's turn. It's during your turn.
It's still sick, though.
Usually the turn that effect went live, you just kill the opponent. There would be turns where there would be times where, like, turn 2, like, you'd be playing against a Whitebeard player, and they would just play Moby Dick and pass turn. And the card wouldn't do anything for, like, the next 3 turns, but the minute it turned on, you lost the game. The minute they hit the 1 life, it was over.
Oh my god, dude. You saw the kill switch, dude.
And that was the thing, too. Like, when we were talking about, like, Whitebeard, where it was, like, because he was, like, on this clock, right? So he'd bring himself all the way down to, like, 1 life. Like, there was, like, a 9-drop Whitebeard that would protect him. He would say, like, save that last 1 life. Also, climb up to 8,000 power. On the next turn, I'll be a 10,000 power body that can pop blockers. And then it would also be like, so they make this giant push with all these characters all gaining 2,000 power. It would usually kill you. If it didn't kill you, though, you would then you would try to kill them, and then they would counter up to like 26,000 or whatever. And then if that would mean that you didn't kill me last turn, I have to kill you this turn, and if I don't, I just lose the game.
Yeah.
It's incredibly tough. It wasn't the Whitebeard who would lose the game, the opponent. They would have to kill you that turn, because they can't live a second turn of Moby Dick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Our next card, Scratchman Apu. 2 cost, 3,000 power, 2,000 counter. Dawn ×1 when attacking, rest up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards. So you have to put 1 Dawn on him. If he attacks, one of their Dawn, they rest it. If they have any active Dawn, they have to tap one of them.
So what is it? Whenever you're playing counters, you have to use Dawn? Or
counter events do cost. There are the 0 cost ones where you discard another card with it. But
so, like, if you're playing him to actually counter from, like, an attack, you have to, like, tap 2 Dawn in order to do that? Or...
No, so there are counter events, and counter events cost Dawn.
Okay.
Characters that counter, you just discard them. There's like a collude. You just drop it, and nothing more.
Okay, you don't actually have to use resources in order to do that.
Right. It would only be...
2,000 counter
and that's only if they're in your hand. They cannot do it on field.
Right.
Okay. Resting up to one of your opponent's Dawn cards. So it just makes one of their Dawn just useless.
Yes. It just turns off. So yeah, if they leave any Dawn up, with their they'll go like, I'll play this turn this specific way, and I'll keep 2 Dawn open so that they can attack me. Counter events also, they do stuff like, they'd say like tap 2 Dawn, gain 4,000 power, and then pop a 3 or less on their field. Or gain 4,000, draw a card. Gain 4,000, tap a character. Like, they would have all these effects, so...
I guess for certain matchups, that would be, like, pretty good if you're trying to at least stop, like, a certain key card from, like, hitting the board.
There is no side deck in this game.
There's no side deck?
No side deck, yeah.
And it's best of 1. You have your 50-card deck that you construct.
Best of 1?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's steep. Alright, yeah, I was about to say, because this guy would be, like, a pretty good, like, side deck card from, like, what...
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah.
He would be.
Yeah, he's a counter at worst. He's a 2,000 counter, so that's already like a pretty decent card already. He's just like starting off. He's a 2-drop, 3,000. I'm not entirely sure, like, I guess, in terms of rating it, like how much of like for like 3,000 power for a 2-drop. I'm not really sure like how good that is exactly in like relation to like other cards that are 2-drops.
Yeah, if it was a vanilla, it would be 2 cost 4k. If it's not a vanilla, it'll usually be 2 cost 3k.
Okay. All right. So tap 2 Dawn, put the card on field, and then in order to actually use the effect, you have to put another Dawn.
Well,
so
yeah, next turn. Next turn's no.
Oh yeah, forgot. Yeah, I keep forgetting that characters actually can't attack on the turn that they're played.
Most leaders
you can play a lot of mind games with your opponent just with the effect alone. Yeah, I would say he's like a pretty good green unit. I mean, he's already like decent just because he's already like a 2,000 counter. And then he has like a pretty good utility effect if you're trying to prevent like a key card from being played. I would say the card's pretty good.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
So this card actually is good. This card was a staple for a very long time. Nothing to do with his effect. His effect completely irrelevant.
Really?
You never. So when you said like you could play mind games to your opponent, the most mind game I would ever picture is I would be like, why did they play the card? Why is it on? He is a 2,000 counter, and he is supernovas and on-air pirates. So that's his like archetype. So he's searchable. So he's a searchable 2k. That is why he saw play. He was strict. He was just a searchable counter card. You did not care about the effect. You would never put it on the board.
Damn. Okay.
He's reduced to nothing more than his counter.
I guess if you only gained like 1 Dawn per turn, he would be better maybe, but not.
Yeah. And also, it's like, cause one. So your opponent, right? So your opponent. Because remember, he's like, so your opponent has 2 Dawn, right? They have 2 Dawn open for counter events. But he doesn't have Rush, so it's like you stick him on the board, and now it's your opponent's. They see him there. They see he's there, so they're not going to do it.
If he had Rush, okay, then yeah, okay.
They're just like, okay, I'm not going to. And not to mention, they could also just kill him. Like, anyway, though.
All right, yeah. Just for being like a 2,000 counter alone, he's already good.
Right. He's a searchable 2k. We have our next card. We have Conjuro. Dawn times 1. Oh, so 2 Dawn, 3,000 power, so same stat line as Apu, 1,000 counter. Dawn times 1 when attacking. KO up to one of your opponent's rested characters with a cost of 2 or less. On KO, your opponent chooses 1 card from your hand. Trash that card.
So discard it.
You discard the card, yes.
Your opponent
That's how they balance
1
them.
card from your hand.
If your opponent answers that card,
if they answer him,
Answer him in what way? Just like counter, or
if they kill him.
Oh, kill him?
Yeah. So he's 2 Dawn, 3,000 power. He does have counter. He has 1,000 counter. And his effect is when he swings, if your opponent has a 2 or lower rested character, he's popping it. So like say your opponent's playing like a deck that's very low to the ground. They have a bunch of tiny little bodies. You could like throw him at one of them. He'd kill that, and then he'd pop another one. Put 1 Dawn on him to activate his effect. So he climbs up to 4,000. And he's popping a 2 or less.
Hand knowledge seems pretty huge in the game, if I had to imagine, just so you at least know like what type of counters.
They don't see your hand.
Wait,
it's just they discard a random card.
Oh, okay. I thought they just look at your hand.
No.
Whoa,
unplayable.
Okay, I was about to say that seems really. Okay. I guess it is just dependent on matchup, if I had to imagine for the first effect. I don't know. I guess it's just like how common it is to actually just put like a whole bunch of like little guys on board for like a whole bunch of colors.
So there is this deck called Zoro where he runs a bunch of 1 cost and 2 cost characters. His leader ability is all your characters gain 1,000. So he plays a bunch of tiny cheap bodies that grab other like search out other small bodies.
Are they permanent boosts or just temporary?
It's just for that turn.
for your turn.
Yeah. So he'll play like a searcher to grab like another character. He'll play a searcher that grabs searchers. He'll play a bunch of tiny, like, 2k, 3k power bodies. He will then pump all of them to either, like, 3k or 4k. And then from there, it costs, like, 1 Dawn for them to, like, match the opponent's leader. So you just take all these little bodies, you pump all of them, and then they just keep swinging to the opponent. And it was, like, it was, like, one of the best decks. He was one of the best leaders for a really long time. He's still one of the best leaders of OP01 to this day. I think he's, like, $300 right now. His alt art.
Damn. Okay.
When this character dies in your possession, your opponent gets to take one of the cards out of your hand and discard it. You just lose a resource.
You already lose like board advantage already on KO, and then they just rip a card out of your hand, so that already just doesn't seem like great. I mean, cool, he's like 1,000 counter, but there's probably like the previous card is just like already like a 4 of. There's probably like way better counters that have like better effects. if I had to imagine. If this card had Rush, probably, for, like, the first effect, it would maybe be decent. But I don't really think it's, like, that great of a card.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card's on play. This is probably the worst card in One Piece.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, the on-KO effect, like, it doesn't matter what that first effect says. That on-KO, he's never seen play. That
Okay.
alone, and not to mention, so...
Yeah, you already lose board advantage and you already lose card advantage.
You lose board advantage.
Yeah.
You lose card advantage. Not to mention, it's not even like he says, like, pop a... So, one, he's only popping a 2 or less. So, he's already barely touching anything. But then he adds a condition, it has to be rested. Yeah, so he's only popping a 2 or less that's already attacked you. It's already turned sideways. So,
Yeah.
he can't deal with blockers. Or this card is fucking awful.
Yeah, the card already doesn't seem good.
Yeah, this card's
because of,
fucking
like,
awful.
how much it costs.
Yeah, and then it's gonna cost like 2 Dawn for them to even match like leaders 5,000. He's
Yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, you already wasted like your Dawn that you already gained for the turn for it.
So bad. Yeah, there was no bait here. He's as bad as he sounds. That's just all there is to it. All right, next card. We have 10 cost, 10,000 power, Don Quixote do Flamingo. On play, so when summoned,
Did not know how to pronounce that for some
a total of up to 3 of your opponent's rested characters or leaders do not become active during your opponent's next refresh phase. So whatever they've turned sideways, they're staying sideways for another turn. So, and he doesn't have like rush, but like, so his thing would basically be like, he uses all 10 of your Dawn, he comes out, he locks down the characters, and he locks down characters and leaders, and while he doesn't have rush, like all those bodies are like kind of useless. So then on your next turn, because they're still rested, now that he can attack, if he wants to answer them, he can. He is all 10 Dawn. He is 10,000 power, but he does lock down characters. He doesn't like remove anything or anything like that, but he does like...
He stuns them for a turn, but you can't even attack with the actual unit. That already doesn't sound good to me, but...
If you have characters
I
like
guess
on your...
compared to like what I would actually have to see like what other like 10 drops that are probably worth more like playing than him, if there are other like good like 10 drop greens.
So this is green's first and only 10 drop.
Really?
Yeah.
That already doesn't seem like worth playing, like using like all 10 of your Dawn on that for a turn.
That is kind of my gripe with a lot of 10 drops also.
Yeah, because what is it? There's probably like the most popular ones, I'm pretty sure, like 8 drops if I remember correctly.
There's a lot of 8 drop and 9 cost characters that see play. There are some 10 cost, usually 10 cost characters to compensate for
They have to have a bonkers
They have
effect.
bonkers effects.
They have to have a bonkers effect.
Like
and
that
to be
Kaido that nukes the board.
Yeah, either nukes the board or it has rush.
Draws
4
yeah.
or it has rush and it can attack multiple times. It like, no, that already doesn't seem like a good 10 drop unit. I wouldn't say that's a good card.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I would say so.
This card's amazing.
Really? Are you shitting me?
So, okay. All right. So, like, your opponent...
It's a 10 drop. What the heck are you doing, like, on your next turn? I mean, you probably already... It's a late game card, so you probably already have, like, a board state already, right?
Okay. So, yeah, you already have your board state. So, your opponent has turned their board state... Well, so, just the fact that
Actually,
he exists,
how many units can you have on board?
5.
Wow, okay, I should have asked that.
so one...
Okay, so
just
over half
this
the
card...
board's useless already.
Yes. But just the fact he exists... When your opponent, if they're ever playing against green and they see you're coming up on 10 Dawn, they have to rethink how they, like, if they even turn the body sideways, because they know he could be in the hand. If he hits the board, like, say they have, like, 2 characters sideways and their leader, basically what he says is he comes out, everything that turns sideways is staying like that, so he's pretty much, because only red really has rush for the most part, he pretty much is saying, like, skip your opponent's next turn. Like, they can play, like, another body or whatever, but it can't
they had no way of
her.
actually getting rid of it either.
They can't. Yeah, he's a 10 cost character, so he's harder to answer too.
Yeah,
Not to mention.
I mean, you probably only played like 1 or 2 of them, right?
Well, no. So that's what I was just about to get into.
What?
So because he cost 10 Dawn and he freezes the opponent's board, so they're locked down for that turn, right? It's now my turn again. He can now attack. I can attack you with this 10k character. My leader can attack again. Everything that's on my board can attack again. If I still have 10 Dawn. I could play another one. I could lock those same characters down.
Does it cost a resource to attack?
No, you tap your characters to attack. So he'll lock down the board. He'll attack them next turn. You can play another one. Their board's staying tapped. They're basically skipping that turn again, and you can just keep daisy chaining them. It's so degenerate. He's one of the best 10 drops in the game. He is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have asked him a couple other questions prior. Yeah, I was just like, you probably can have like more than at least like 4 or 5 units on board, probably, right? And I'm like, no, half their board's just locked down and they can't even get rid of it.
And usually, like on average, too.
And that's if they used it. It's only towards rested characters, right?
Yes. So
So if they attacked, you drop it, they're stunned for a turn, and then they still can't do anything unless they have probably like event cards. I'm pretty sure there's like, are there event cards that just like take down like 10 drops immediately?
Only blue has one. Only blue has one. Okay. Yeah, so pretty much once he comes out, he stuns the opponent. Unless you're playing against blue, he's making it to the next turn. And you just keep doing it over and over and over again. And every time you're doing it too, you're gaining another 10,000k body to swing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's absurdly good. He is, and like I was saying, he's so good that it's kind of like how like Gores kind of redefined how people do the battle phase and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, because
yeah, you actually have to think.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna have 10 Dawn, and it's like I could try to kill him this turn.
Yeah, you actually have to like think ahead like pretty massively in order just to not get like completely cock blocked out of the game.
Yeah, because if you try to push game on them, and if you can't close out the game, he'll come out and he'll lock down those characters. And now he's probably going to kill you.
Yeah, and the thing is like, you don't even know their hand. You don't even know, like, what type of counters they have, nothing like that. Or even, like, counter events either.
This card is so good.
Okay, that's pretty good.
That's the final green card.
Damn, it's actually kind of like the thing where you're kind of, like, sitting there for, like, probably, like, a turn or two and just waiting to actually draw, like, an answer.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
He steals so many games. All right, we are now in blue. Gekko Moria, 4 cost, 6,000 power, 1,000 counter, no effect. Just a vanilla. Yeah, vanillas are always going to be 2,000 power more than their cost.
Okay, so I guess the question comes up is just like, how good are vanillas realistically? Like, would you rather just... Is it like Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you just rather play monsters that actually have effects rather than just regular vanilla monsters?
9 times out of 10, yes. There are certain stat lines though, like, because your opponent's like your opponent's leader's usually like 5,000. So 5 cost vanillas will sometimes see play because they're 7,000. So your opponent needs to drop like 3,000 counter to get out of the attack. So sometimes those see play, but even those aren't all that common.
The thing is, it's a 4 cost or it's a 4 drop, so you're already wasting like almost half your Dawn just to get it out.
You do kind of put half your Dawn into getting it out, and Summoning Sickness is a thing in One Piece.
Yeah, it doesn't even have Rush either. So it's like, it already doesn't seem like a good card to me. It does not even have like an effect to compensate.
In exchange, though, it has an additional 1,000 power. It's 6,000. 4 cost characters, either they have an effect and they're 5,000, or they have no effect and they're 6,000. Or they can have an effect but no counter.
It's just like what issues does blue even like run into?
So you remember that card he was talking about that was an 8 cost that just says, hey, you can only attack this?
Only the leader?
Kid?
Yeah. Was he a leader or just a regular unit?
He was a character.
The 8,000 that you can only attack me.
That card completely ended Blue's existence in OPO1 because I was a blue player in OPO1, and this card came out in OPO2. We didn't have access to this card until OPO2.
Wow.
So anytime that I wanted to play characters, typically I was playing blue, Don Kyote, Doflamingo. This is the game's in its early stages. We're at OPO5 currently. This stat line didn't exist in OPO1.
Yeah. So is this in consideration of like what the game is currently, or how the card was when it was released?
It's just whether or not you think this card's like ever seen play, just in general.
Ever seen play?
Doesn't have to be viable right now, but like.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
If it's ever seen play.
Do you think this is like a viable?
Or was viable?
Was viable? Was this card ever like involved in the meta? Was it ever competitive? Could be now, could be the past.
Man, the fact that Eustace actually did that. Okay.
Yeah, no,
what
like,
is it? It would, like, Captain Kidd was like an 8,000 drop.
He was 8,000. So, and he cost 8. I mean, he cost 8. So Blue's boss monster at the time was this card called Mihawk. It costs 9. He said bottom deck of 7. So he couldn't touch Kid. So realistically, all they could really do was try to beat over him with like Mihawk, for example.
Yeah, but they would just get countered out of the game probably.
Usually, it was to the point where like Blue could have like 3 Mihawks on the board, 3 9K characters, and still never be able to answer the Kid. Like they could have like 3 Mihawks on the board and still lose the game. That card, like it literally like Doflamingo was like a really good leader, but he never won an event because Kid was one of the best leaders in the game, so you would never make it into a top 8 and dodge that. You'd have to place it at some point, and you were never going to beat it. It was probably like a 10-90 matchup.
Yeah, they'd have to brick.
Yeah.
Are there cards? So there's cards that boost like your character's power in the game. It's just like, how much does Blue even have access to that?
With Blue, it's kind of just your Dawn, the resource.
Oh yeah, you can use your Dawn during like battle in order to actually increase.
Yes.
I guess it was an early card to try to answer Captain Kid if I'm thinking about it correctly. The card's probably decent for like at the time that it came out in order to answer Kid. If it came out early, but I think that's probably like its only use case if I had to imagine, right?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card didn't see play because of anything like related to Kid or anything. This
Really?
card only saw play because there is a leader called Don Quixote Doflamingo.
Yeah.
And his effect was attach 2 Dawn to him, tap 1, look at the top card of your deck. If it is a 4 or lower, 7 Warlords, play it. So basically...
Excuse me?
Yeah, so you were basically playing... You would cheat him off the top of your deck for 1 Dawn.
Yep.
That is the only reason he saw play. That is literally it.
I'm not gonna lie, this kind of has like Rescue Rabbit vibes.
That is the only reason he
It's
saw
just like, I'm just gonna cheat out of vanilla real quick.
Yeah, Blue Dofi was so fun because that's all it was. Is, he plays a 4 cost or lower, 7 Warlord of the Sea, and they all did stuff. One of them was another version. Actually, there's 2 cards with that same name. One of them's a 4/5 that grabs something from trash on play, so you get to grow a body and get something back as a resource. The deck was so fun, but green just killed it.
We have 2 cost, 3,000 power, 1,000 counter, on play, so when summoned. If you have Moji, it's a vanilla. It's a vanilla character. If you have the specific vanilla in play, draw 2 cards and trash 1 card from your hand.
Oh man, this definitely has vibes with like a card that, or a deck in like Pokemon that I used to play.
What was it?
Zoroark.
Yeah, GX.
Yeah, Zoroark GX, yeah. It kind of has like vibes with that. But, Moji?
Moji, yeah.
One cost 3K to the fun.
One cost 3K? Really?
Yeah, it's a 1 cost 3. If you have seen that vanilla, you have put it on the board, and if it is still on the board, when I play this card...
on the board.
When I play this Kabaji, I'll draw 2, I'll trash 1. You have to have both of them. You have to put both of them on the board. But one's a vanilla, this is draw 2, trash 1. And now like next you have 2 3Ks on the board, so like on the next turn, you could put like 2 Dawn on each of them. So you can spend like half your Dawn to pump them to try to match the opponent's leader, I guess.
Okay, I mean you draw 2 cards from... Yeah, it's a +1. It's just like you already have like a requirement to get to that, and the thing is like that requirement's a vanilla. It's only a 4 of, unless our like searchers like really...
There's no searcher. These are unsearchable.
They're unsearchable.
They're unsearchable, yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh. If there was a searcher, I would like maybe consider it, but
Are they East Blue?
No, they're buggy.
yeah, I was about to say like how common are searchers like in One Piece?
Fairly.
I'd say maybe half of the archetypes have one.
So are they usually like on units or on
Usually-
like events?
Yeah, so usually there's 1 cost 2,000 power characters that say look at the top 5. And searching in One Piece is not searching in Yu-Gi-Oh! Searching in One Piece is look at top 5. If it's in there, add it to your hand. Bottom deck the rest.
Oh, so it's like duality, but like more
Right,
restrictive.
yeah.
Okay. I already don't like it just because it has a restriction and there's like no searcher for it either.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This card's banned.
You're shitting me! What?
Okay, so
Dude, how?
2 cards banned.
this was one of the
How?
first 2 cards ever given. There's this deck called Nami. Her win condition is she changes the win condition to when I deck out, instead of losing the game, I win the game. So she would basically like have this card in hand and like the vanilla. If you don't see the vanilla, then you don't play this. You just hold them until you see the other piece. Once you finally do though,
How the hell do you actually play the game though? Or
you stall.
you just don't?
You stall the game out. So what you do is you'd play the vanilla. You would play this card. You draw 2. You trash 1. Then you would play another event to bounce him back to your hand, and then play him again.
Holy
Draw 2.
shit. Okay.
Trash 1.
Yeah, like in just looking off the card and the other card, it doesn't seem great in theory.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
So you just abuse him. You keep playing him over and over again, and then there's like a card that never saw play like outside of Nami, like a counter event. So you'd keep 2 Dawn open on the opponent's turn. They would attack you. You'd play a card called Overheat. It'd be gain 4,000 counter. So now Nami's not taking that damage, and bounce a 3 or less back to your
Nami's
hand.
a leader?
She's a leader. Yes.
Oh.
So, yeah, you'd play Overheat, you'd gain 4,000, so you're not going to take that damage, and then you'd bounce Kabaji back to your hand. And on your turn, you'd play the Kabaji again, draw 2, trash 1. You just kept playing this card over and over and over again. And you deck yourself out and win the game.
How many cards do you actually start out with in One Piece?
5. 6 if going second.
5 in life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just draw 1 per turn? Okay.
Yeah. Yep, that he saw play for degeneracy. You just abused him. You just kept looping him over and over and over again.
That's insane. How often was like... Well, the card can be banned. I'm assuming it's like pretty often to actually get to the win condition.
It was
consistent.
It was consistent enough, yeah. It was consistent enough that it had to be like one of those things that Ben actually had to address. Because that was the thing too. They gave Nami a bunch of like cards that would say like, when I attack the opponent, if I connect, like mill them like mill 7 cards off the top of your deck. They like gave her all these cards to interact with the opponent's board and attack them and stuff to like mill your own cards. But players didn't do that. Instead, players just played cards like this. So they just played solitaire. There was 0 interaction with the opponent. It just turned into degeneracy.
Damn.
All right.
So in this game, are there actually like negates at all?
No.
Or like cards to just completely like nullify
Nope.
other cards? Nope. Okay.
None. There's no card in One Piece where like your opponent on their turn is trying to do something and you're going to be like, stop that. All right. Final blue card. We have Borcelino, 7 cost, 8,000 power, on play, so when summoned, place up to 1 character with a cost of 4 or lower to the bottom of the opponent's deck. So he's a 7 that answers a 4.
Already doesn't seem good that it's already like...
No counter.
7 out of 10 of your Dawn. It's 7 out of 10 of your Dawn to answer like a lower tier character already. That already doesn't seem great to me. I mean, cool, he's 8,000, but it's just like, I'd imagine there's probably like other like 7 drops that have like better effects than that.
Is that your final answer?
But like he answers something, so like it's decent in that way, but it's...
Yeah. On average, most characters will usually answer characters that are like 1 or 2 lower cost than them. So like
Really? Okay, so that's kind of like a theme, right?
yeah, there's like a card called like Sogeking. He's 7 that bounces a 5. Mihawk is 9 that bottom decks a 7. Sakazuki is a 6 that outs. Is it a 5? It's 7 outs a 6, right?
It's a 6 that outs a 5.
A 6 that outs a 5. So he's 7 that outs a 4. So I will give you that. He is.
Okay, so it's a running theme usually with cards like that.
It's
then.
yeah. It's usually hitting 1 or 2 less.
It's already, so that
Yeah.
already doesn't seem great. Yeah, I wouldn't really. There's probably like way better 7 drops than him. I wouldn't say he's that great.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
This is a good card.
Really?
Yeah. So
They don't have better 7 drops than this?
Here's the thing.
He hits 3 lower.
here's the thing about him. So different colors have different identities. There's this color called black. Black can lower the like cost of characters.
You're shitting.
So there's a black blue leader.
Oh my god, that seems insane.
It just came out this set, and it's the meta leader.
Yeah, no, that seems insane. I didn't even know you could actually like lower costs of like actual units.
Yeah, so
That completely changes that card.
yeah, it has nothing to do with blue. It's once you bring black into the equation, it breaks.
Oh
the-
my, yeah,
Yeah.
no, like he seems like an average card if there's like no other like 7-drops that are like that are
Yeah. This is
that have better effects.
Yep, this is a character that will probably never see play in a blue deck besides black blue Sakazuki. That is literally it. This card is so average, or even below average outside of
for
him.
a 7-drop, dude, that's like that's like most of like your pool already, your resource pool.
No, it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess there's still 3 more colors. That was already pretty lengthy as is, so we'll go ahead and end that one there. So I guess for the final 3 colors, do I have to tune into the next one? Anything before we close this one out, though, guys?
No, I don't really got anything. Glad to be here though.
No, I cannot wait to see Isaac's reaction to purple, yellow, and black.
Yeah. With that being said, then, until next time, we'll see you guys.
Later.
Later.